UFC Denver was last night. We had 12 fights, headlined by Rose Namajunas taking on Tracy Cortez. I was excited going into this card, and I definitely think it delivered. I'm going to be giving a short recap on every single fight on this card and my thoughts on where I think some of these fighters should go next. So let me know in the comments if you agree, and let me know if you hit on your bets. Hopefully you did, and make sure you click that subscribe button, like the video, it helps out the channel a lot. Let's get into it, man. Let's start off at the bottom. First fight on the night, we had Evan Elder taking on Darius Flowers. We picked Evan Elder. We figured he would get the takedowns, he would get the submission, or get a TKO. He ended up getting the submission. He was going for that arm triangle all night. Darius Flowers hit a couple takedowns, maybe at least one good takedown, but overall, Evan Elder was just a better grappler. Darius Flowers, I've never thought he belonged at this level. I just, not trying to disrespect him, but I just think, that's probably it for him fighting at this level. I mean, they might give him one more since he took the shot on short notice. They probably will, actually, but it wasn't a great showing. Let's move right on to the next fight, man. We had Andre Petrosky taking on Josh Frim. Josh Frim, I did pick him in this fight. Definitely wasn't a great showing. We figured Andre would get some takedowns early. We knew he had some advantages with the wrestling, with the overall grappling. I just thought Fremd could keep it on the feet a little bit better than that, or at least make him work when he gets the takedowns and, start to take over as the fight goes on. But, Andre, credit to him, coming off a couple tough losses, he did what he had to do. Didn't try to use too much energy. There was a couple sketchy moments, but overall, Friend was way too content to just go for submissions off his back. You're not hitting that at a high level. I'm glad I didn't bet that fight. Passed, but it was a bad pick. We move on. Luana Santos taking on Maria Agapova. Luana Santos did what we figured she would do. The line was wide, so I can't blame people who took Agapova stabs, but, overall, just went ahead and laid off. Picked Santos by sub. She got the rear naked choke. Did what she should. This next fight, though, I was kind of kicking myself. There was a couple fights on this card that I was kicking myself. Really 3, and this was the first. I picked Montel Jackson. I didn't know he was going to make it look that easy, but, I wish I would have stood behind my pick, and I didn't realize that at fight time it was like complete even money. Because I was looking at minus 140 all week. When it would go down to minus 140, I'd be like, oh, I'm so tempted. But I was like, nah, I'll just lay off of it. I do like Blackshear. I really like both these guys. But shout out to anybody who got that even money. A couple of y'all sent me tickets like, oh, well, I saw you didn't bet it, but I went with your pick. And, hey, shout out to you. More balls. And, Montel gets the easy KO, makes it look easy. I'd love to see this guy fight either Jonathan Martinez or Peyton Talbot. So let me know in the comments what you think about those matchups, who you'd like to see him fight next. Maybe I'm forgetting somebody, but I'm thinking he should get, his problem is just not being active enough. But if he can stay active, this dude's a problem, man. He's good everywhere, huge for the division. Yeah, man, he's a beast. Clearly hits hard too. Next up, we had Jasmine Jasdovicius taking on Fatima Klein. This fight was number 2, man, because all week, I picked Jasmine. I was confident on her, and I was confident on Montel, but didn't bet it, and should have went with my gut. She made it look easy. Fatima really, she did it. She landed some alright shots on the feet, but Jasmine just kind of big sister, put her on her back and dominated her. Great win by Jasmine. Did what she had to do. It might not have been pretty. They're booing, but it was a good win. Wish I would have bet it. But I did have the over bet, but it didn't matter because this next fight, we had Charles Johnson taking on Joshua Van, and I didn't even realize it was back to back to back. So I picked Van, but I picked it to be by decision, and all week I'm like, oh man, if you're betting this, it's got to be dog or pass, But I don't like to, if I'm slightly leaning somebody, I don't want to pick or bet against them unless it starts getting over plus 200. Is exactly what I said in my video. So when I was seeing plus 210 on Charles Johnson, I'm like, man, this fight's probably going to be close. And it was before the knockout. Like you saw, one of the judges had a 2-0 Van, someone had a 2-0 Johnson, and someone had it 1-1. And I think people are like, oh, the scorecards are crazy. Dude, I understand, man. Because Johnson was out voluming the volume guy, but Van was landing the heavy shots to the body, some big hooks up top. But Johnson came out hot, man. He was landing some good kicks to the body, to the legs. Yeah, I mean, it was a great fight. And then obviously Johnson came out right at the beginning of the third and knocks him out. It was just a clean uppercut. I'm kicking myself for not betting Johnson because I really knew there was value on that line. It's just, because I was slightly leaning Van to win a close fight, I was like, I'll stick with my pick. But I knew that line was off. So shout out to the Johnson bettors. But he did crack the over too, which hurt. But we got close to hitting that. And then, oh man, this next fight, Cody Brundage strikes again. This guy, man, trying to take Aljo's spot for number one, best actor in the UFC. I mean, my God, I'm sorry. Even the Aljo knee, at least the Aljo knee was like, that was a really bad knee. And some of these elbows, but like, first of all, when you're in that position, you're milking it, man. Like, what are you doing? It's not like it was one huge knee that was super illegal. It was like a bunch of like elbows that are like right on the edge. It's like when you're doing that, I'm just gonna put the back of my head towards these freaking hard shots that are coming down on me. It's the same as the Malkoun fight. It's like they need to change that, man. I get that like back of the head shots are sketchy, but like I don't know, man. Like it's just dumb because when you're incentivizing people to like put their weakest point of their whole body towards the opponent. I mean, he almost got another DQ win. Luckily, what was it? Big Dan, right? Dan Mergliata was not having it. From the beginning, you could tell him and the doctors were like trying to make the fight continue, and you could tell as soon as Brundage and his team was like, "Yo, it's an illegal shot." He was like, he like literally changed how he was standing. It was like, "Oh, I'm so hurt," and you could tell the doctors were like, "Okay, so you're good. You don't want to stop," because he was trying to be low key, and he was like, "Oh well." Oh man, I don't know. Like he was saying some low key, like borderline shit. Clearly, like, can I have a little bit more time? I'm pretty shook up. I don't know. Well, what happened? I did see him say what happened at one point, bro. Like, come on. Anyways, Abdul got robbed there. Oh my! And I actually kind of am one of the low key, like. Everybody hates on Guru, but I think a lot of times he has some solid takes, even though obviously some of it is, not for me. But that take was awful. He was like against Abdul. I don't know. I'm like, I hope that's just for clicks. Not that he needs to do that. But anyways, next fight, we were on a Rosa. We also had the over, so we hit the big plus 200, but we did miss the, what was it, minus 120, minus 130 on the over. But if I could pick one, it'd obviously be that big dog on Arosa. Obviously I like Christian Rodriguez, but I don't like the fact that he's won a couple of these fights with big, weight misses. It's just like blatant cheating, and people are doing it too much now. And at this division, I've said like Arosa's a big featherweight, and I don't think. People just look on his resume and they're just like, 7 knockout losses, worst chin ever, he's going to get chinned. It's like, it's not as simple as that, man. That's just not how fighting works. So, I get it. Durability is important, isn't it? Obviously. But, Arosa gets the dub. Friggin' makes him tap right at the end of the round. GG's. Next up, though, we did hit this over. We had Gabriel Bonfim versus Alex Lusa. I picked Bonfim by decision. He gets the decision. Not a whole lot to say about this fight, man. Honestly, I thought he won. Most people, I think thought he won. I don't think people were thinking Lusa won, but I'm not gonna lie. I was kind of tuned out. I was like eating snacks during this one because it was kind of boring. And I figured like Bonfim's gonna know he might come out hot, but if he doesn't finish him in the first couple of minutes, he's probably gonna slow down and be like, "Let me chill." He just lost that way. So people are like, "Oh, you're crazy. You're picking Bonfim by decision." He's never won, let alone even been to a decision in his life. And I'm like, he's gonna on Saturday. So plus 200 cashes. GG's. Appreciate you, Bonfim. Good dub. Next up, we had John Silva taking on Drew Dober. This one hurt, late bet that I made, and maybe I was really interested in the fight. Originally, I'm just like, I'm just gonna stay off it. I don't want to get in front of the momentum, but I do think Dober has all the advantages. He's just got a lot of tangible advantages there, or intangible advantages, I should say. Sorry, it's early and I took like 5 dabs before this video, if you didn't realize. But, anyways, Silva, dude, this dude's a dog. I don't want to take away from it. It does suck that the fight had to finish with that cut, but like you cannot take away from John Silva. I could be like, oh, if the fight didn't stop. Now I will say, like, right when Herb stopped which rightfully so, I was like, yeah, that they need to stop this fight as a Dober better. But let's be fair, though. I'm being fair to Silva. Let's be fair. He did have Silva up against the cage when they stopped it. Now, Silva had done some good work there, but that is Dober's best chance. Like, every time Silva would be there, I'd be like, come on. Like, you're one punch away from just this fight being over. Now, credit to Silva, though. Now it's time to go back to the crediting Silva. He did that damage with, I think it was an elbow. I didn't have the commentary that loud. I was just watching. But, yeah, I think it was an elbow. But, he did the damage to Dober. And, he was winning the fight. Like, I, again, wasn't listening to the commentary. But I think, on my cards, I think he was probably up 2-0. It might have been 1-1. But, I was still like, yo, we're live. Like, I had not even thought about giving up. I was thinking, like, Dober might knock him out. But the cut was legit. Silva looked legit. Credit to him. Good win. Now it's time to be salty. Now, I wasn't salty in the last one. Time I can be salty in this one. Santiago won this fight, man. He took on Muslim Salikov. Credit to Salikov. This dude's 52 years old, not 40. But he did not win this fight, man. I get he was landing some hard shots, and, like, Santiago's fight IQ is not the best. Like, probably didn't fight that. It's the best path of least resistance. But, like, my God, he won the fight. Like, do people think that... I wasn't really, like... I was pretty tired after this. I haven't been staying up as late. So I was actually pretty tired these last couple of fights. But, am I tripping? Santiago won the fight, right? Like, I tweeted it, and it seemed like 90% of people were agreeing. But is there decent people who think Muslim won? I mean, he landed some good shots. It wasn't a good last-minute bet. This was a bet I made, like, 2 fights before after, like, having some bad luck. I'm like, all right, I'm due for, like, some good luck. No, worse. I'm due for worse luck. But honestly, we had some good hits on this card, so I can't be too salty, and we bounced back in that main event. But I thought Ponzi won. It seems like most people did. Main event, this fight went exactly how I figured it would. I don't have a whole lot to say. People weren't super excited about the main event. It definitely didn't, pan out great. It was kind of a boring fight. Rose just was better, She's just a better fighter. She outlanded her. She knocked her eyelash out. That was the viral clip. Knocked her down, It just looked like Cortez was frustrated like 3 minutes into the fight. I think it was the end of the 4th or 5th. I think the 5th, actually. She had some decent work, but Rose already knew she was up like in the very worst 3-1, most likely 4-0. So I didn't even look at the cards, dude. Like I said, I was tired of the last like 2-3 fights. By the end of this one, I was like, especially because of how the fight was, I was like, but like, I'm not trying to be funny. I was tired, but the fight didn't exactly. If it was Yuri Alex, would I have been? Of course. But in the end, Rose, better fighter. She cashes the over. She cashes the parlay with Leon. Now we just need Leon to cash the other end to those 2 parlays. So respect, good win by Rose, making it a couple good little performances at 125. I still like the Faro fight. So who do y'all think Rose should fight next? And what's next for Van? I'm really excited for what's next for Montel. I would love to see that Peyton Talbot fight, but we'll see. What's next for Rose? Let me know in the comments. Let me know if you could cash some bets. Yeah, man, it was a fun fight. Enjoy your Sunday. Hope you enjoyed the fights. Hope you cashed some tickets. I will catch you guys. I'm gonna do some smaller promotions. Should I do KSW 1, Octagon, Cage Wars? What should I do? Because y'all like the PFL. So what should I do? We do have UFC obviously Tuesday. I will catch y'all then. Until then, peace.